2 days later. The Kensington ledge came out of slipspace with a shuddering pull, the hull flexing as if adjusting to the physics of normal space again. The stars stabilized, but something about them looked wrong. Not their positions. Their presence. Sparse, too far apart, light years stretched thin. The ship had dropped a sector short of the coordinates Rook had marked, 33D. It wasn't an accident. He'd ordered it that way. No one on board wanted to jump blind into the middle of a region the company had once flagged, quietly, as a signal coherence anomaly. The bridge was dim, standard protocol when entering low-emission stealth, but the dimness felt earned here, natural even. No one spoke louder than necessary. Marin, the helm officer, leaned over her display. Course plotted. We're 2.9 million clicks from the 33D boundary line. No active threats. EM baseline's dirty, though, like static over everything. Confirmed, said the sensor chief. Passive spectrum's cluttered. Radiation's high, probably why this zone was classed as dead. It's not that there's nothing here. It's that nothing gets out clean. Rook stepped forward, arms behind his back. His gaze flicked between the forward viewport and the sensor data. Interference was thick, bursts and pulses across multiple bands, some of them rhythmic, some just noise. But it wasn't natural drift. There was pattern to it, under the chaos, like something pushing back against being seen. This was where the probes had vanished. He thought back to the slate he'd pored over 2 nights earlier. Dozens of missions launched over 3 decades, 17 failures, 5 never even logged properly. Buried under asset tags and unreleased reports, their last signals had all died somewhere near here. One by one, quietly, no cause of loss, no recovery attempts, just absence. That absence now wrapped itself around the Kensington ledge like a second skin. Helm, begin sublight approach, Rook ordered. 2% thrust, no grav assists. Run it cold. Aye. Beginning drift. The ship's inertia shifted. The artificial gravity barely registered the change, but the displays rippled slightly. The stars held steady. Somewhere ahead, behind all that distortion, was 33D. The sector had been flagged decades ago by an old cartographer's note buried in deprecated company data. Unstable return signal coherence. No natural mass orbitals. That last part was clearly wrong. As the ledge advanced, the view ahead populated with scattered bodies. Asteroids, ranging in size from shuttle-sized debris to city-sized stone masses tumbling in slow, cold arcs. Looks like an old field, Marin noted. Impact remnants, maybe. Cracked orbiters from an ancient belt. Movement is sluggish, ideal for cover. Rook nodded. Use it. Mask our signature behind the largest drift clusters. Plot around high albedo bodies. Understood. Executing silent track weave. The navigation lights dimmed again. The ledge's active arrays powered down. No radar, no pulse scan. Just soft drift through space, listening without speaking. A full blackout run. No one on board had done one since wartime drills. The ship entered the asteroid field with the grace of a predator. Shields were kept tight but dormant. The hull ran cool. External noise fell away until all that was left was the sound of filtered air and the low, slow hum of internal circulation. It felt like waiting for something that hadn't decided to happen yet. Long-range returns are fragmenting, the sensor chief said after 15 minutes. Radiation levels spiking again. It's not background radiation. It's modulated. Artificial, Rook asked. The chief hesitated. Unclear. It's not decaying naturally, and it's definitely not cosmic background. Rook turned to the display. He watched the forward sensor cone struggle to stabilize its output. The data drifted constantly, like trying to paint a picture on shaking glass. He narrowed his eyes. There's a shape to it, he murmured. Sir? Nothing. Keep watching. They glided deeper. The asteroids became denser. Some bore old scarring, ancient impact streaks, iron-heavy burns from eons ago. Others were almost smooth, too smooth. One passed the viewport close enough to make the bridge dim automatically. Its surface was riddled with pitted circular patterns. Not unnatural, but not random either. No one mentioned it. The ledge was quiet. No chatter, no system alerts, just the growing pressure of the unknown sliding closer. Rook could feel it. Not dread, not yet, but proximity. This was the boundary line, the place where the probes had gone blind. Now they were here in person. He checked the time. They were 42 minutes into drift operations. At current velocity, they'd reach the formal edge of Sector 33D in just under 6 hours. Maintain formation, he said. All stations remain dark. The crew moved with precision. Quiet, competent, but no one relaxed. That wasn't what this place allowed. Whatever had silenced the probes, Rook now understood, hadn't needed to move. It simply waited. They were heading toward it, and it already knew. The radiation peaked 90 minutes into the drift. It didn't come as a sudden spike, but a slow, pulsing build, like static pressure gathering in the ship's bones. Interference blanketed the sensors, each wave distorting returns more severely than the last. The Kensington ledge had gone fully dark now. No emissions, no active scans, no lights beyond emergency strips. Rook stood at the forward observation station, watching through the reinforced viewport. The asteroid field was thinning, the large masses giving way to finer particulate drift. Between the tumbling rocks, something shimmered. At first it looked like a trick of contrast, reflected starlight, a dense metal vein. Then it moved. Not fast, not aggressively, just a tilt, a reorientation that couldn't be explained by spin or orbital decay. "Captain," Rook said quietly. "Visual bearing, upper right frame. 70 degrees high, 25 starboard." Captain Lath was already looking. "I see it." The shimmer steadied, and as the ledge glided another 100 kilometers, the distortion resolved into shape, cutting angles, hard geometry where there should have been dust and rock. "Sensor contact," Marin said, breath tight. Multiple returns, distorted profile, confirming structure. The console flickered. "There," she pointed. The alien station emerged like a shadow in slow birth, visible only in motion, black against black. It reflected no ambient light, no thermal glow, just the occasional hard glint where an asteroid passed behind it. It was large, hundreds of meters across. A flattened hexagonal frame surrounded a central obelisk-like core, with winged arms sweeping out like a spider's poised legs. No symmetry aligned with known engineering standards. Every segment looked functional, but alien. "Material doesn't match anything in our archive," Marin said. "High-density composites, reflective only in slivers, maybe photonic deflection." "Cloaked?" Rook asked. "Not quite," said the intel officer, Lieutenant Kale. "But close. It's hiding in design, not tech." Around the station floated several smaller objects. Ships, likely. Their hulls were smooth, slightly curved, with appendages like grasping limbs or sensor antennae folded inwards. They clung to the station at multiple junction points, like insects on a carapace. "Still no active emissions?" Lath asked. "Not from the ships," Marin said. "But the station, yes. Tight band transmission." Confirmed signal match with the satellite above Vestan Reach. Same modulation. Same pulse duration. Origin confirmed. The bridge was quiet. Rook took a step forward, leaning closer to the view. "So this is where the satellite was talking to." "Looks like it," Kale said. Lath crossed his arms. "Could be a relay hub, a forward base, maybe recon." "Maybe," Rook muttered, "but they're not hiding very well. That's not drift. That's anchoring. They've established a footprint here." Kale zoomed the display on the central spire. Core structure has layered panels. Looks modular, reconfigurable. No weapon systems detected. But I'd be cautious about assuming intent from silhouette. "They're docked," Marin added, pointing to the spider ships. "Not circling. Station keeping. This is a functional harbor." "Any heat signatures?" Lath asked. Marin paused. "Minimal. Reactor cores running cool. Whatever's powering this thing, it's efficient. Almost no leakage." Kale turned from her console. "Permission to speculate?" Lath nodded. "If this is a scout base, it's not recent. That level of integration with the field, that takes time. This was here before the colony ever failed." Rook felt it in his chest. A pull, not dread, but proximity. This was the end of the signal. The reason the probes went silent. The thing no one in the company had ever bothered to look at directly. And now it was here in front of them. Immobile. Watching, maybe. Or waiting. "Run modulation checks on the beacon," he ordered. "I want to know what it's broadcasting." Kale worked her terminal. Not language. No phonetic patterning. Signals layered. At least 6 bands. Could be telemetry. Could be time-stamped packet sends. "To what end?" She shrugged. "Not sure. Maybe it's calling home." "Or calling forward," Lath said. The possibility settled into the air like new gravity. Rook exhaled slowly. "Mark every visual node. Lock all positions. Continue observation. No emissions, no changes to drift profile. We stay passive." The station didn't react. The docked ships didn't move. But something about the configuration felt intentional. They weren't tethered randomly. They were aligned. Angled toward open space as if waiting for traffic. "Have they seen us?" Lath asked, voice low. "No way to tell," Marin said. If they have, they don't care. Or they don't consider us a threat. Rook studied the display. Every instinct said it was a forward base. Not a colony, not an outpost, a staging point. And it had been here long enough for the company to pretend it wasn't. He thought of the vanished probes, the fake asset tags, the blanked records. A station like this didn't go unnoticed, not with long-range telemetry up and running. The company knew something, or worse, they didn't, and just buried it until someone else had to face it. Well, Kale said, now we're the someone. Rook didn't respond. He was still watching the spider-limbed ships. Sleek, non-reflective, elegant even, but alien in a way that no reverse engineering could soften. This wasn't tech they'd stolen. This wasn't even tech made with the assumption of human interface. It wasn't built to be understood. Lathe straightened. We need to notify Bastion. Volka has to see this. Rook didn't move. His eyes were still locked on the central structure. She already knows, he said softly. No one answered. The bridge held position, silent, lit only by the slow sweep of distant stars and the impossible shape that now loomed before them. At the edge of the known, they'd found something that didn't care what they called it. Only that they'd arrived. It detached without warning. No ignition, no docking clamps, no flare of maneuvering thrusters. One moment the spider-limbed vessel was anchored to the station like the others, silent, folded, inert. The next it was gone, drifting free across the black. Contact, Marin said, barely above a whisper. Separation event, one of the docked objects is launched. Captain Lathe stepped forward. Trajectory? Drift vector only. No powered propulsion, but it's arcing. Rook narrowed his eyes at the plot as it unfolded across the hollow map, a gentle elliptical curve. Slow, wide. It was looping, more a slingshot than an intercept, at least at this distance. Projection? Rook asked. If the course holds, it'll pass within 20,000 clicks of us. No corrections, 2 hours minimum before it's close. What size? Marin checked. 5.4 meters long, 1.9 tall, mass under 10 metric tons, very light. Looks like a drone, maybe a courier pod. EM? Nothing. No broadcast, no ping, no response to background radiation, no signature at all. It's just gliding. Lathe's jaw tensed. Could be a routine sweep. Kale, watching from the secondary console, spoke up. It left the station almost exactly 90 seconds after we locked our second passive scan. Correlation or coincidence? No way to confirm, Marin said. But it's not aimed at us. It's sweeping the region. Like a sensor net, Rook murmured. Another ping blinked on the far edge of the map. Then another, smaller dots, faint but consistent. The ledge's passive system flagged them automatically. 3 more objects equidistant, all emerging from the far side of the station, all on similar trajectories, arcs in space. They're fanning out, Kale said. 4 total. Looks like a perimeter pass. A patrol? Latha asked. No formation pattern. It's too wide. I'd guess it's more of an area sweep. Rook leaned closer to the map, his eyes locked on the closest object, the one drifting slowly toward their position. It didn't blink, didn't wobble. It just slid forward with absolute composure, a glider in silence. How long until it crosses 40,000 clicks? He asked. 72 minutes, Marin answered. Rook stood straight. Flag it. I want every sensor window focused the second it crosses 40. That's our action point. Aye, Commander. He turned away from the display. Notify Science and Tactical. Strategy deck, 10 minutes. The bridge was silent except for the quiet tap of keys and the low hum of auxiliary power. The Kensington ledge maintained its cold profile. No emissions, no heat spike, no movement beyond gravitational drift. But tension radiated just beneath the stillness. Rook walked the corridor toward the strategy deck alone. He passed bulkheads lit only by pressure strips, crew stations running on local power. Emergency protocols had been active for 10 hours. Minimal lighting, no automated systems, recycled airflows throttled down to reduce thermal output. The whole ship had become a sleeper shell, coasting in anticipation. He stepped through the bulkhead and into the strategy chamber. The lights here were even dimmer, just a circular hollow display at the center of the room, ringed by sloped chairs and micro-desks. The system flickered to life as he approached. Lieutenant Bresch arrived first, tactical chief, lean, angular, always coiled like he expected someone to start shooting. Dr. Mallon followed close behind, head of science, older, soft-spoken, with eyes that looked like they never quite blinked fully. A few minutes later, Captain Lathe entered and took a silent seat beside Rook. The drone appeared as a thin wedge on the projection. Its velocity was updated in real time, plotted against the ledge's drift path. No convergence, no pursuit, just proximity. Situation's clear, Rook began. Unidentified object on approach. No active scan. No communication. Passive only. It appears to be part of a wider sweep. We've logged 3 more at distance. Our object is nearest. If its course holds, it passes within range in just under 2 hours. He looked between them. I want options. We don't know if it sees us. If it does, it hasn't reacted. So either we're hidden, or we're not interesting. Or we're being ignored, Bresh said. Worst scenario. Explain, Malin said. If this is an autonomous scout and we're inside its engagement threshold, it should have flagged us already. But if it's seen us and doesn't care, that implies understanding. It suggests intelligence. Or it's bait, Lath said flatly. Malin shook his head. We've seen no sign of active behavior. No heat bloom, no guidance corrections. It's a drone. Automated. That's worse in some ways, Bresh said. If it's automated, then we're looking at a protocol. A standing order, which means whatever built this station expected company. Rook pointed to the plot. Let's talk intercept. Can we grab it without tripping the whole network? I wouldn't send a full boarding craft, Bresh said. Too visible. Best chance is drone recovery. Small magnetic tether, low thrust maneuver from the starboard bay. Success rate? If it doesn't alter course, 90%. And if it's bait? Malin asked again. Bresh frowned. Then we're already compromised. Might as well learn what we can before we get flagged. Malin turned to Rook. You're assuming we can learn anything from it. I'm assuming we can't learn anything without it. Silence again. The projection spun slowly. The drone's arc was unchanged. If it scans us, Rook asked. We won't know, Bresh said. If it's passive, we can't detect it. If it's active, it might trigger defensive reactions from the station. Or the other drones. And if we do nothing? It drifts past, Malin said. We stay silent. We keep watching. We learn patterns. That's science. But not command, Lath said quietly. We're not here to watch. We're here to understand threat, opportunity, limit. If we let it pass, we've surrendered initiative. Touch it, Bresh said, and we could be opening every door they've sealed. Let it go, Malin countered, and we might never get that close again. The tension was surgical. No voices raised, no bluster, just professionals, each holding a scalpel against the skin of the unknown. Rook exhaled through his nose. We wait for the 40,000 click threshold. If it continues its arc and nothing changes, we act. Passive tether only. No course correction from the ledge. Drone moves, we go full shutdown. He stood from the console. The others followed, each taking a last glance at the slow drifting projection. The door opened to the corridor. Cold air met them. Before stepping through, Rook turned back one last time. He didn't say it out loud, not yet, but the question pressed at the walls of the ship, at the edge of thought. Do we touch the unknown, or let it pass us by?